And for the next keynote session, that is Digital Trust and Risk, Building Confidence in Enterprise Transformation. For this, I would request Mr. Sourav Dasgupta, CIO All Cargo Terminals Limited, Transindia Real Estate Limited. Sourav is a seasoned IT leader with over 23 years of experience in driving run, change, and business transformation across the IT landscape. With proven expertise in project and program management, he has successfully led large-scale initiatives in operations, finance, customer relationship management, and HR for production support, while also establishing shared service and centers of excellence for global programs and captive units. Huge round of applause for Mr. Sourav Dasgupta. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm standing between the tea and your networking break, right? So I will keep it very, very short, okay? I think the previous speakers eloquently spoke about everything that I have to present. So, starting with Parna, talking about what a CIO role should be, what should be the impact of it. Okay, Aditya coming up and talking about Darwinbox. By the way, I am one of the first customers of Darwinbox for almost like 6 years now. Okay, we'll talk about that later on. And then, looking at Ministry of Communications using data-driven decision-making. So no wonder India is going places. Okay, and glad to see that everybody that is here, from Darwinbox to Unaminda to us, we are following the Atmanirbhar, the Indian MNC concept. So big applaud to you guys, what you guys are doing. I will go very quickly introduce my company. Just a show of hands, anybody knows Allcargo Logistics? Okay, fantastic. Okay, how many of you know logistics? So arranging for dinner for 20 people in your house is a logistics? Just curious question. 20 friends coming from 20 different places, or make it a large-scale wedding. Logistics, right? So what does logistics means to you? Any idea? Anybody? I want to make this interactive, guys. Can you just be with me for 5-7 minutes? Anybody?
From source to destination.
Source to destination, okay. Anything else? Facilitation, okay. So in this day of that, we always talk about in IT forums, transformation, AI are the big buzzword. But I'm going to use another T word, tariffs, right? The big buzzword going around now, tariff, right? So what is that tariff about? It's about trade. It's about what we import, what we export, right? On a daily basis. Anything that we are self-sufficient in and other peoples don't have, we export from our country. Things that we don't have or we need for ourselves, we import. So Parna talked about rare earth magnets. Okay, what we do is we facilitate what we call the EXIM trade, the import-export trade. Okay, quick show. We have about 4 listed companies in the market. Okay, our top one, if you look at it, is the EQ Worldwide, through which we operate across 180 countries, 300 city offices, 2,400 trade lanes. A trade lane is equal to 1 code share for a flight. So you're going from Delhi to Bombay, Bombay to London, each are code shares. So those are like code shares. So what we do is we take your cargo from any place in the world, we put it in a container, we bring it, and then we do custom clearance. And we do the opposite. We take your cargo from here, send it to somewhere, what somebody called the destination. Okay. We also do, when the cargo comes in the terminals, we do all the custom clearance. I'm not going to detail of it. We also do warehousing. Allcargo Group is an Indian MNC led by Shashikiran Shetty. This is a quick roadmap of what we have done in last 30 years. So an Indian-bred MNC. Okay. I'm not going to go one by one. I'm going to make it quick. So whatever I talk to you guys up, this slide says it all. We move international supply chain. We do CFS, which is the terminals work. We do the ground express in India through Gati, and in various other countries, we have other trucking companies. We are nascent in air freight, but we are getting there. We do contract logistics, which is your warehousing 3PL, 4PL. We do built logistics parks. We have built in excess of 5 million square feet. Now let's come quickly to my topic. Promise somebody can time me 10 minutes or less. Okay? Because the other speakers has done my job. Okay? So I was thinking about something. I was thinking about a story, when we talk about digital trust. And I want you guys to be transparent with me today. Okay? Porna talked about 50-year plus CIOs, what will do. I fall in that category. Okay? Trust, we all have in our visions or missions of every company. Trust we have in our family and children. The question is, do we trust ourselves? Do we trust ourselves? That's the question that I'm asking first. Forget digital. Okay. So a small story for you guys. Imagine 10th grade board exam. Right before that, some special classes are going on. Syllabus is not complete. Teacher is taking that course. And students are listening to the teachers. One of the students is inattentive. He sees a couple of his friends outside the window. The friends are calling him. Rushes to the friends. The friend says, there is a new movie. Okay, you guys want to go? The student agrees. Now what do we tell the teacher? Emergency. Dad is in hospital. Okay? Obviously, the teacher gives the permission, goes to the movie, all hunky-dory. Nobody knows anything about it. Comes dinner time. The kid sits in the dinner table with the father. The mom is serving like regular Indian dinner. The dad doesn't start. Mom asks, what happened? Why are you guys not eating? The dad tells, can you ask your son how is his father doing in the hospital? The mom doesn't correlate what's happening. Okay. He goes, what nonsense? He says, no, ask your son how is his father doing in the hospital. Fast forward the next day in class. The student goes to the class. The student stands up when the teacher enters, says, good morning, ma'am. The teacher replies with a big smack. How many of you got that, what I said? You understood what I said? We don't trust ourselves. We could have told our parents we wanted to go to a movie. Okay, but things were different then. Now come back to our life right now. I will bring you through some of the small things that we talked about, okay? I'm not going to talk about trust, but I'm going to talk about trust in your data, okay? So when I think everybody spoke about data, especially, sir from, NIC spoke about data. So when we look at our enterprise transformation and digital trust, we come up with the data dilemma. We need to have a central idea of where we are going with this transformation. We need to think about software-defined businesses. And I will talk about that. I learned that. I didn't discover that. I learned that from one of the very big consultants called Ramcharan. Everybody spoke about customer. Maniacal obsession is what we need. We need to think beyond data. How many of you agree with this, the chicken and the egg story? The data or the use case? Which comes first? Think about it. I am nobody. I'm not going to preach the choir. That's my next one is. I'm not going to preach the choir. Okay? But can you have a case without your complete master data layout, having an understanding of your metadata, having an understanding of what will be your referential data or transaction data. I think this is done already, probably a little different meanings of how you look at it. What does data mean? Sorry. I'm not going to read through this, okay? But please understand there are differences in the word terminologies that we use, especially the second and the third. Digitization and digitalization means very different things. We talked about data modeling or analysis of it. We talked about analysis, which is not only understanding data, but cleaning the data. How many of you have your systems with, sorry, I'm picking up one name, Reliance Limited, R.I.L, RIL, India, how many have it in your systems? Think about that. Obviously, we need to discover the pattern. Sir talked about it before. Transformation is fundamentally changing something. I will come back to that. Lastly, we talked about the governance and protection. I think all of this you guys know. But let's go a little bit further. Every company, when you want to do a transform, you need a central idea. We have taken, I have given, if you see, I have given ET Masterclass the credit. So it is not from me, it is from my reading and learning. How many of you know Amazon? Everybody. What did Amazon start with? What kind of company is Amazon? What is Amazon? IT company? Used to be, no? That's how it started, right? Okay. Is it still a book-selling company? Is it an IT company? Is it a logistics company? Is it a platform? Everybody's saying yes to everything, so what it is? So just think about it. So the only thing that they did, their central idea was faster, better, cheaper. How many of you know this? You want to know something? And I laugh when I think about this. I don't know how many of you still go to the movies and watch the first show. Okay? In our times, that was big. The release, the first show. Okay? That was a big, big, big thing. Right? But think about it a little bit more. You need to buy the ticket to get into the hall. Right? Without the ticket, usually you cannot go into the hall. Which means that people are paying ahead of getting something. Netflix is doing the same thing. Netflix is only thinking they are driving the consumption and getting paid ahead of the time. So no DSO for finance guys. We were talking about learning our P&L, balance sheets, cash flows. Netflix has 0 DSO. They have nothing to collect. Okay? DoorDash or Zomato. I think we know who they are. And this is the code that DoorDash writes on the leg. Same thing as Amazon. We are a technology and logistics company, started with door-to-door delivery. As I said, none of this is my discovery. It's through learning. These are the books. If you can just look at it, you will understand. One of the things we talk about is working backwards. Meaning, can you think what is your end state and work backwards? So coming back to the movie theater, right? We got a little more development from that. And I don't know, I need a show of hands because I will look very old otherwise, right? So after the movie theater scenario came the VCR, DVD things, where we used to order the TV and the VCR. They used to come in a small bicycle or something like that to your home, okay? And they will put the TV, connect the VCR, and show you for $50, $60, okay? So Netflix was in India before, not with that same name. We just didn't think about it. This one, I talked about software-defined businesses, okay? What we talk about in our business, and Porna talked about that, CIOs should be now looking into revenue aspects, right? How to increase the revenue of the company. Usually, the companies that we work with, when we grow up in scale, okay, our cost increases. Whether it's cloud consumption, whether it's better, cybersecurity, or different ERP, or whatever you can talk about it. How many of you can say that I will use the same thing, okay? So the cost remains fixed, but my margin increases. Can you think about one where one software, one technology will produce more goods? Because if you produce 10, the cost is still 100. But if you produce more, the cost is, and it gets divided. So the cost per unit gets less. So your GP increases. Can you think about one of the big one in your mind? Obviously, there are going to be modernization and stuff like that. Tesla. As the software matures, the market sets the price. Guys, please look into Tesla model. These are the 3 things we need to do for all our companies. We need to connect customer data, what they want. Somebody just talked about what the customer wants, okay? And I hear and see some things, I will come in the next slide, okay, are some crazy stuff which we are doing. You know what is the attention span of each of our customers in e-commerce today? Anybody has any understanding? Anybody from e-commerce here? When you go to any of those Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart, what is the attention span of the current Gen Z, who are the most? Less than 8 seconds. Less than 8 seconds. And I went to another conference, somebody told me, and I just said, hands up, I cannot do anything. They said less than 5 swipes. That's the attention span. If you have more than 5 swipes, I'm done. But what we are saying is, connect with your customer. Please set up your algo according to your customer's future need, not only now. Build backwards, and have some people who understand that. Will AI take our jobs? The answer is no. If you are willing to reskill yourself. It is not stuff, it is micro-learning, it is understanding the process. This is when I come with customer. Customer should be, must be, and will be the central focus. No, we should be obsessed with it. We have to learn what the customer needs in the future. Even IT team should go on sales visit. Highly recommend. Talked about attention spans. If you can look at it, it's less than a goldfish. This is Harvard study. And what everybody wants, including us. I wrote their personalization, but we actually want hyper-personalization. I feel good when I walk into a hotel and they call my name and they know what I want. It makes me feel good. And if I go to another hotel, they don't know me, I try to go less there. As simple as that. We all want attention. Last but not least, let's start to think beyond that data set, understand the opportunity map. We talk about taking risk. It's not about being reckless. It's not about, I don't need to use cyber posture. I don't care about my defense. Okay? It's about betting on something that is coming or we can see on the horizon. Don't shy away. I think a lot of people has talked about POCs. Try it, fail first, deploy it, run it, modernize it. I think all three have spoken, even Darwin Box, how they have built on their processes from a few years back. Porna has talked about, processes needs to be redefined. Design thinking. Define what is success for yourself, your company, your department, your domain, your market. Please forget competition. Start looking at them as one group. Embrace new technology. If you don't disrupt, somebody will. That's the final line. Small take on what we think today about transformation. This can be multifolded. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Sourav, sir.